Hey there everyone, and I'm glad you're here. This is Cloud Chief, and in today's video, I wanted to go over how you unlock and go through and do Voidwatch. To get started with Voidwatch, you need to be at least level 75, you also need to be rank 3, and you need to have progressed through Wings of the Goddess missions far enough so that way you have access to Walk of Echoes. Once you have that done, you go talk to a Voidwatch officer to obtain an abba site, and you can actually start each of the main city quests. You need to talk to a Voidwatch officer in each of the main 3 cities. There's one in South Sandy, F9, Bastock Market, D11, and Windy Waters, G5. Once you've actually talked to one of the officers, you will start accumulating void stones. When you first start out, you start accumulating stones 1 every 20 hours. You can also obtain void stones by trading void dust to the officer. Void dust can be bought off the auction house, in bazaars, and it can also be traded for conquest points. There's also an option that you can pull from stock, or you can have it so that way you have however many stones you hold in your inventory. It's best, I think, to pull from stock, that way you don't have to go back and talk to the officer every time you run out of stones to be able to pop any more NMs. To do that, you talk to the officer and you click ask a bunch of questions. Then you go to the bottom of the list and go to void stone consumption, and then click on stock. To progress through Voidwatch, you have to first clear all of the cities and each NMs that are associated with the city. After each tier of NMs, you then need to go back to an abba refiner and have the abba refined, so that way you can start popping the next tier, and you have to progress each city past tier 4. Once you have all 3 cities progressed to a tier 4 abba, you then need to go to Pashalo Marshlands in the past and go talk to the vertical conflux. The vertical conflux is very close to the telepoint in the marshlands in the past. After you're done getting the cutscene with the vertical conflux, go talk to a Voidwatch officer in the present, and he will give you a key item. After you have the key item, you then need to go to the audience chamber in Rualud Gardens. So after you have your white abba site, you can then go and kill the 6 tier 1 NMs for the Juno questline. After you've killed the tier 1s, you then go talk to an abba refiner, and he will upgrade it to a tier 2. Then you go kill the 6 tier 2 NMs for the Juno questline. Then you go talk to an officer, and he will give you another alarm. Then you can go to the audience chamber, and this will upgrade your abba to a tier 3. Once your abba is a tier 3, you then go kill the tier 3 NMs. After that's done, go to Pashalo again in the past and talk to the conflux for another cutscene. After the cutscene's done, go to another officer, and he will give you another alarm to go to the audience chamber. After you go to the audience chamber, at that point, they will upgrade your abba to a tier 4. At that point, you want to go ahead and kill all the tier 4 NMs. Once they're all taken out, you then go to a refiner, and he will upgrade it to a tier 5. Now that your abba is a tier 5, you go ahead and kill all the tier 5 NMs. Then once you're done, go back and talk to an officer again, and he will give you another alarm that you can go back to the audience chamber. Once that's done, there's kind of another quest line that shoots off, and you want to go and do this now because it'll start actually game day timers. So next you want to go to Champagne in the past and talk to the Bulwark Gate. After done talking to the Bulwark Gate, go ahead to an officer. However, you do need to wait for a game day change before you'll get a cutscene from the officer. After that, go back to the Bulwark Gate again, and that should upgrade your abba to a tier 6. Go ahead and then take out all the tier 6 NMs, and then go talk to an officer in the past. After you're done talking to an officer, go back to the Bulwark Gate again. After going there and getting a cutscene, you then want to go to Pashalo Marshlands in the past for another cutscene. After that, go and talk to an officer again for another alarm. Then you can either go to the audience chamber or go to the Bulwark Gate. Once that's done, Go back to Pashalo again in the past and check the conflux, and this should take you to a different Walk of Echoes area. Once you are there, click the triple question marks that are glimmer right next to where you zone. You should be able to then turn in a Void Stone for a Koopa-Freed Conundrum. After that, have Koopa-Freed warp you to Provenance. Now that you have access to Provenance, you have to get 3 key item petrifacts to progress so that way you can fight the last boss. There are 3 different ways to obtain these. You can randomly obtain one of these just by killing random Voidwatch NMs. You can purchase them from an NPC for a little more than 300,000 crewer. And there are also 3 individual chambers in Providence where you fight 2 particular NMs, and after clearing it, if you have a white proc, you will get the drop for it. Once you have all 3, you then go talk to the Regal Paul Prince twice. Then you go click the Provenance Proto Crystal for a cutscene. Once you're done with the cutscene, you can actually enter the last fight and fight Provenance Watcher. After he is defeated, you go ahead and click the Regal Paul Prince again, and that would actually be wrapping up the main questline for this. Just to note that the 3 key items to enter for the Provenance Watcher will be consumed, and you will have to re-obtain them each time that you want to fight the Provenance Watcher. Now, to note, there are a few things. Right now, at the release of this video, there is a campaign going for Voidwatch where all your lights will be capped at the start of a fight, so that way you don't really need to worry about proccing. However, this does not affect it in Providence. In Providence, you do need to proc if you want guaranteed drops, key items, and etc. I'll be releasing another video soon showing you a strategy for how to beat the Provenance Watcher. But just to note that there are these things called phase displacers that you can purchase from an NPC that is right next to the outpost in Jugner, and you can use these to weaken NMs, but I will be going into that in another video. There are additional Voidwatch side quests you can do to get access to additional NMs, but I will also be going into that at another time. For this wraps up the main Voidwatch questline, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got some value out of it, and may you have success in all you do.